What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Nightmare on Elm Street review. Um, as you can see, right now I am by myself at the moment. Tonight, I'm gonna have to do this one solo because Arlo um, cannot be available for tonight. But the show must go on, right? So, um, so I'm doing it solo tonight. So tonight. I'm going to be reviewing A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Now, I'm going to start off by saying that this is, I spent a whole week thinking about this, and it's official. This is my second favorite Nightmare film. And I'm saying right now the fourth one is my all time favorite, but this is definitely my second favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film. I love the concept. The kids being able to have powers in their dreams to feed against Freddy. You get Heather Langenkamp, Nancy coming back. John Saxon as her father coming back. And this is where the movie where we meet Kincaid, who's one. He's a favorite, played by Ken Sagos. You get look, I'll just run down the cast list. Heather Langenkamp come back as Nancy. Patricia Arquette as Kristen. Of course, the great Robert Englund comes back again as Freddy. Jennifer Rubin as Taryn. Craig Wasson as Dr. Neil Gordon. Of course, Ken Sagos as Roland Kincaid. Ronnie Eastman as Joey. And we also get a small appearance from Lawrence Fishburne as Max. And then of course John Saxon comes back, so it's a pretty good cast. Um, so this is a sequel after Nightmare on Elm Street Part Two, which again, a movie that I didn't think that was not that bad. Nightmare on Elm Street Part Two got shitted on, which I mean, again, I get the gay overtones, but to me, like I'm saying again, I didn't care about the gay overtones. It didn't bother me. I still thought the movie was a pretty good film. I thought Mark Patton did a pretty good job, despite the gay overtones. I enjoyed the film, but apparently not a lot of people felt the same way. But they definitely made up for it for a lot of the fans with Part Three. Um, so I was definitely looking forward to this film because I've really been enjoying these movies. One was great, two was good, and I'm looking forward to see where this one brings. So let's get on with the review. Now, the movie is supposed to take place 1 year after the events of the second film. We meet Kristen Parker, played by Patricia Arquette. She's making a a paper mache house, and the whole time, and she's basically trying to keep herself awake. But of course, her mother is scolding her. You need to get some sleep. Underlay, 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 and stuff. And Kristen objects. She doesn't want to go to sleep, but she obeys her mother. Good daughter, right? And she falls asleep, and then we enter the dream world, and uh, she sees the life size version of the paper mache house that Kristen was building. And then, of course, we meet those creepy kids. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Those kids are so unbelievably creepy. And then Kristen sees this girl on the porch riding her bike. And then while she's talking to the little girl, we hear like a scraping noise. You know how when Freddy's is near some metal shit, he likes to scrape it. We kind of heard that. So like tell me, okay, Freddy's near. and it turns out that the home that she's in is 1428 Elm Street, the home of Freddy Krueger. And she follows the little girl into the house. And to make a long story short, she sees Freddy. She tries to run, but her feet's stuck. And the whole time when she's trying to get her feet free, we see Freddy, getting closer to Kristen. But then she breaks free. She runs, and she finds the little girl, and she's trying them. And then she carries her and tries to run. And then we later find out that the little girl's a little fucking corpse. She says like, "Ow, you're hurting me." And then she looks down, and the little girl's dead, like she's a skeleton. Like, fuck. And of course, it scares the hell out of her. And then she wakes up from her dream, and then she goes to her bathroom, and then it's still a nightmare. She's trying to wash her hands. I really like how the faucet like grabs her hands, and the other faucet, like the nails grow out of the faucet, and then we see Freddy in the mirror, laughing at Kristen. Again, Robert Englund, like I said, Robert Englund's the man. Like you could tell he's having fun as Freddy. You can tell he's having a good time as Freddy, and he is Freddy Krueger. Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger, no doubt about it. So he's like laughing. He's laughing at Kristen. Then we see the knives, go towards Kristen, and blood splatters on the mirror. Then of course, Mom comes in, and then we see Kristen's wrists are slashed, and we see she sees a razor in her hand, and looks like to be an apparent suicide. Now, people hated Nightmare on Elm Street 2 because people were like, "No, that's bullshit. Freddy, there's no way. Freddy, in the real world, that's bullshit." If you really think about it, Nightmare on Elm Street 2 wasn't the only film where Freddy manipulated the world. I mean, it's safe we can assume Kristen was dreaming. I mean, it's safe to assume that, but she could have been awake too. We don't know. But like I said in Nightmare on Elm Street 1, Nancy is awake. And then, in the great scene where she took the phone off the cord and it still rings, Freddy manipulates the phone, and Freddy goes, "I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy," and tries to lick her. Then he does it in all the other Nightmare on Elm Street films, but in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, it gets shitted on when Freddy has done it in other Nightmare films. I don't know. I just been defending Nightmare on Elm Street 2 for a whole week. I just like the same problems that people say Nightmare on Elm Street 2 has. They love it in other films. I don't get it. I don't know. So, so after the suicide attempt, Kristen's mother admits her to the hospital for help. And then this is where we meet I want to get the doctor's name. Neil Gordon, Dr. Neil Gordon. He's a psychiatrist, for the kids. We meet him, and then we get an understanding that a sleep therapist or something like that is going to be coming in. And then we meet Lawrence Fishburne. He looks like, he's like, he like, like kind of like watches the patient, make sure they don't do anything crazy. It's nice to see a young Lawrence Fishburne in this movie. It was pretty cool to see him. I think a very underrated actor, if you ask me. But then, of course, Kristen is freaking out. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to be sedated. She doesn't want to go back to sleep. She's like, freaking out. I think she like attacks Gordon, kicks him in the balls, I think, cuts Lauren Fishburne's arm, and then just a complete hysterics. Kristen is repeating the Freddy rhyme. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 9, 3, 4, better knock your door. 5, 6, grab a crucifix. 7, 8, better stay up late. 9, 10, and when she gets to 9, 10, we see Nancy in the door saying, "Never sleep again." And it was really cool to see Nancy again. It was really nice to see Heather Langenkamp come back, and she came back in a pretty epic way by finishing the rhyme. Thought that was pretty cool. So she walks up to Kristen, and Nancy's the only one that could calm Kristen down. And then, to make a long story short, Nancy is introduces to the rest of the ward. We meet Philip, who's a skilled puppet master, and then we meet Kincaid, and Kincaid is hilarious from the start. Like Lawrence Fishburne's talking shit to him that this dude's always in the quiet box, so don't be surprised if you don't see him too long, right, Kincaid? And then Kincaid looks at Lawrence Fishburne and said, "Yeah, I do it so I don't look at your ugly face no more." Like, I chuckled at that. I don't look at your ugly face no more. So yeah, we meet Kincaid, who has a short temper. We meet Jennifer, who wants to be an actress. Taryn, who's a drug addict. Joey, who is so traumatized by the nightmares, he refuses to speak. And we meet Will, who is bound to a wheelchair after a failed suicide attempt. So these characters to me are they're pretty likable, and they're pretty relatable too. I mean, you feel for these kids. You give a fuck about them, and they seem to be a pretty cool bunch. And but then of course, so we meet the characters, and then Nancy, who is very invested and attached to these kids because Nancy understands what these kids are going to. And Kristen, falls asleep, of course, and she's back into the Freddy house. And then some crazy shit happens. We see like a pig in a table like bark at her. Then she's in a room and some crazy shit happens. And then this is where we meet the Freddy snake. The Freddy snake is like slowly trying to bite her, and she screams, "Nancy!" Nancy is pulled. Like Kristen has the ability to pull people into her dreams. So she comes in and she saves Kristen, and she stabs the Freddy snake, and she lets go of Kristen. And it was a pretty cool moment where like the Freddy snake looks at Nancy, and he recognizes her immediately. He goes, "You," and he tries to kill them. And then Nancy recognizes Freddy. This is the first time they've met since the first film. So while he's trying to attack Kristen and Nancy, they're able to wake up from their dream. And then Kristen talk. We talk about, we learn about Kristen's history, about her parents had passed away, and she had this ability to pull her father into her dreams. She was a little girl. Her parents are separated. And then she asked Nancy, "Is this man in the dream real?" And Nancy says, "Yes, he is real." So we got an interesting bunch of characters. Kincaid's cool, Taryn's cool. Will, Joey. Again, they're relatable kids, and you feel for them. And then I also like the fact that Nancy is heavily invested because again, she was one of these kids, so she understands exactly what they're going through. So I thought that was pretty cool. Give me a second. Yeah, so then of course, Nancy, is in a group meeting where she talks to the rest of the kids. We meet Will says he had an accident, and then Taryn goes, "Accident my ass." And then the Kincaid sticks up for Will, like, hey, oh, so what? He took a jump. At least he ain't fucking don't stick nails to her not nails, needles to him and shit. And then we meet Jennifer, says she wants to be an actress, and Kincaid talking shit about saying the movie that you're gonna be in is gonna be called Lifestyle, the Rich and Psychotic. And then they're trying to explain to them that they've been having these nightmares, and then there's this nurse who's a bitch who doesn't believe what's going on, and saying that that this is just this is just your way of dealing with the guilt, and exposure, like something about sex. And Kate says, "Oh, great! Now you're telling me my dick is trying to kill me." I really enjoyed this Kincaid character. He's a smart ass, but he makes me laugh. I thought he was a really funny character. So then, we get to a scene where Will, and Will, Joey, and Taryn are playing a game, like a board game. And Lawrence Fishburne telling them it's time for them to go to bed. And then Will asks Joey to keep first watch, so watch each other, make sure they don't go to sleep. And then we see Gordon and Nancy having dinner, and she tells Gordon that these kids are in great danger, and she wants to offer them Hypnosil. Well, Hypnosil is a drug where you can sleep but you don't dream. So she wants to offer to the kids, but of course Gordon says no, no, that's a bad idea. And then Philip is sleeping, and Philip, who's a puppet master, all of a sudden we see a puppet of Freddy come alive. And this is definitely one of Nightmare on Elm Street's more iconic kills. He cuts Philip's wrist open and his legs open, and he pulls the veins out. And then, because another one of Philip's problems was that he sleepwalks. So Philip, gets out of his bed and looks like he's sleepwalking, but really Freddy is just like moving him like he's a puppet. And the veins come out of his wrists and his legs, and then Freddy's using him as a puppet with his veins. So I'm like, wow, that's very inventive and very good, and very cool effect too. Kincaid wakes up and he sees Philip strangely walking out the room, and then Kincaid goes, "Have a nice stroll, asshole." So then Freddy basically lures Philip, out to the edge of the building. And then the kids see Philip and they try to scream, they try to get help. That doesn't work. And then we see Freddy, we see his face in the sky. He's laughing, and he just cuts the veins off, and we see Philip fall to his death. Very, very, very cool death, I will admit. Very inventive, very imaginative. That's the one thing I love about these Nightmare on Elm Street films. The fact that it's in the dream world, that the imagination is all out. And then that's cool. That's really cool. So then the next day in the group, of course, it's believed that it was a suicide, but the kids know it wasn't a suicide. They know that the man in their dreams killed Philip, but of course the nurse and Dr. Gordon, they don't believe it. And then we get another funny Kincaid moment. The nurse says, like, when are you guys gonna stop, thinking that your dreams, are doing this to you? And Kincaid goes, and when are you gonna stop blowing smoke off your ass all the time? And then Kincaid's getting like worked up. You don't blame him. He's scared. He's terrified. And he's saying they're gonna put him in the quiet room and sedate him. He's like, no, fuck that. I ain't going to sleep. Fuck sleep. And then Lawrence Fishburne and the doctor basically have to carry him to the quiet room. And he's screaming, I don't want to go to sleep. Don't put me to sleep. Fuck sleep. I guess so far Kincaid is the most entertaining character in this film. He's cracking me up right now. And again, you don't blame him for acting the way he acted. He's terrified. He just watched his friend basically get murdered in front of his eyes. So he's in the quiet room, trying not singing the Freddy song, because again he saw the kids saying it to in his dreams. And man, lost my place. Oh, I'm sorry. So then for the next scene, we see Lawrence Fishburne trying to we meet what was her name? I want to say Jennifer. Yes, Jennifer. She's watching TV and she doesn't want to go to sleep. Because she's still affected by what happened to Philip. And Lawrence Fishburne, he's cool about it. He's not an asshole. He basically lets her stay up and watch TV, and as long as I didn't see you whatsoever. So it's again, and Lawrence Fishburne's not in the movie that much, but I like his character. It would have been nice if we saw him a little bit more in the film. And then, of course, we see a doctor basically, trying to have Taryn, take drugs, because we also learned that not only is Taryn can't sleep, but we also learned she used to be a druggie. She was addicted to heroin. And then the guy is trying to tell him he has the keys to the pharmacy. And she's like, I'm gonna tell Max. And it's like, yeah, do you think they're gonna believe a junkie like you? And then she says, fuck off, and leave. So more characters, some character development there. And we go back to Jennifer, and we also learn she's a chain smoker. She finds a cigarette. And also to keep herself from, falling asleep, she burns herself. She burns herself with a cigarette to keep herself awake because she's kind of nodding off a little bit. But that still does not work. She's watching TV of I forgot who the interviewer and the interviewee was. But then they were having an interview, and then the interviewee was an actress, saying you gotta practice being an actress and all that stuff. Then all of a sudden, the interviewer turns into Freddy, and he goes, "Who gives a fuck what you think?" You know. And then she lunges towards the interviewer, and the TV goes blank. I laughed at that. It's like, who gives a fuck what you think? You know, this movie here, you can tell is kind of the beginning of humorous Freddy, but you kind of get a balance with this movie. Like the first two films, he's dark, he's creepy, he's scary as hell. In part three, you kind of get a balance of dark Freddy, and you kind of, get lighthearted not lighthearted, but humorous Freddy, which I was fine with. It didn't bother me. Robert Englund's still doing his thing. He's still doing a great job as Freddy. So after who gives a fuck what you think, the TV goes blank, and then Jennifer, she walks towards the TV, and we could get this is quite possibly the most iconic moment in Nightmare on Elm Street, or one of the most iconic moments. Definitely Freddy's most iconic line. And a really cool effect, too. I really like how this was done. The arms come out from the side of the TV, grabs Jennifer, and Freddy's head comes from the top of the TV with the antenna sticking out of his head. I thought it was a really cool effect. And then, of course, arguably his most iconic line. He's like, "This is it, Jennifer, your big break. Welcome to prime time, bitch." And she takes her head and smashes it into the TV. Bravo! I really enjoyed that scene. And yeah, Freddy's one-liner was great. "Welcome to prime time, bitch," and smashes her head. Awesome scene. And you feel for these kids. You really do feel for. You feel bad when they die. So we go to Jennifer's funeral, and then Neil begins to lose hope, like he's not doing what he can to save these kids. But then he meets a nun named Mary Helena, who basically, warns him about the bones that must be laid to rest. And then, of course, Nancy brings up the Hypnocil thing again. And Nancy, let me get to the scene where Nancy pretty much lets the survivors in on Freddy's past, about who he is, child killer, and he became much worse after he died when he got burned to death. And then we learned that these kids are the last of the Elm Street kids. The last of the Elm Street kids. And then Nancy and Dr. Gordon, they do an experiment where they all fall asleep together. Then they wake up and they think it's a fail at first, and Gordon, spreads doubt to Nancy, like, you need to think about reality here. Then we learn that they are in a dream world. And then I really like how the Dream Warriors have their own unique powers. Will, who's confined to a wheelchair, he can walk, and he's the Wizard Master. Kincaid, who has superhuman strength. Patricia Arquette, that's her name, but Kristen, she's very athletic, and Taryn's more like a punk rock chick that has knives. Like, in my dream, I'm beautiful and bad. And then the whole time, Joey, again, the shy kid, he's been crushing on this nurse, And all of a sudden, this nurse like lures him into a room. And then, she talks about, oh, I think you're so cute and all that stuff. And she undresses in front of Joey. Beautiful woman. I can see why Joey had a crush on her. She was pretty fine. She had big titties. Well, titties. They were considered big in the 80s. Looked natural, unless if plastic surgery was very amateurish back in the day. But yeah, she makes out with Joey, and I'm cheering Joey on, like, yeah, you handle that, bro, handle that. But then, of course, he's in a fucking nightmare. Like the nurse's tongue stretches out, and she she spits tongues out to tie, Joey's arms to the bed. And of course, Freddy's laughing his ass off, and I think Freddy had a one-liner in this scene. Let me look for it. Let me just look for it. Oh yes, he said. He said, "What's wrong, Joey? Getting tongue-tied?" And then the mattress disappears, and we see Joey basically, he's basically dangling over hell, pretty much. And you feel bad for Joey. He can't scream. He could scream, but he's just mute at the moment. So while the Dream Warriors are having fun with their powers, of course, like the room caves in, and I mean, basically looks like they're about to be sent to hell as well. The bitch nurse finds them; they're all asleep, and she finds Joey. And then we learn that Joey is in a deep coma. Basically, Freddy is holding Joey hostage at this point. But Joey's in a deep coma. And then, of course, that the head administrator said there's been 2 suicides. And we have another patient in a coma. Dr. Gordon, your efforts are failing, and he basically fires Nancy and Gordon, saying to relieve their duties. And Gordon's trying to tell the bitch nurse, please listen to the kids, please understand. And then she says, I will. And I'm like, fuck you. And Gordon packs up his stuff and leaves, and he sees the nun again. He sees the nun again, and we learn that Freddy was the bastard son of 100 maniacs, because a part of that hospital that the kids were in, a part of it was also an insane asylum, and in this specific room, the most insane of the insane will be locked up in a room. And then a nun was accidentally locked in there, and there was hundreds of maniacs, and they basically held her hostage, and they raped her like hundreds and hundreds of times. And during that period, she was pregnant, and she conceived a kid, who we learned is Freddy Krueger. So it's nice to learn Freddy's backstory. So if that's the case, no wonder why Freddy grew up to be so fucked up. I mean, I'm pretty sure we would all grow up to be a little fucked up. I mean, our mothers was raped by literally 100 maniacs. Technically, don't you know who your father is? So yeah, so that would definitely fuck me up a little bit. I mean, not to the point where I would kill children, but Man, that had to be tough. That probably had to be a little tough. So it was nice to learn Freddy's origin. Again, this was done better. We know a little bit, but we don't know too much. That's what Rob Zombie should have done with his Halloween movies. Didn't tell us so much about Michael Myers. Again, it was done just right here. We learn about his origin, and that's it. That's all we need to know. So we learn he's a bash some 100 maniacs, and he tells Gordon, the holidays, of the holidays by accident, and his bones need to be buried properly. So they basically gonna investigate where Freddy's bones are. Now while this is happening, Patricia Arquette's freaking out. No, you can't get rid of Nancy. You can't fire Nancy. You're killing us. You're killing us. Kind of remind me of The Walking Dead when Rick went to CDC and the door wouldn't open. He's screaming, "You're killing us! You're killing us!" It kind of reminded me of that. So she orders Kristen to be sent to the quiet room to be sedated. So while that's happening, Gordon and Nancy meet with John Saxon's character, who is now a drunk. He basically drunk himself to a stupor. And Nancy, she tells him that, Freddy Krueger is back. Of course, John Saxon doesn't believe her, doesn't really want to believe her. Said, "I've lost too much over this whatsoever." And he doesn't want to tell her. And then he basically tells her fuck off. And she then Gordon receives a page, and then Taryn calls the doctor saying that they got Kristen in the quiet room. So don't send help whatsoever. And Gordon tells Nancy, "Go back to the hospital, and I'm gonna talk with your father." And we get a badass moment because Gordon tried to talk to John Saxon, and then John Saxon said, "I don't believe we met. No, I haven't even met you, and this ain't none of your damn business." And then he remembers that, so he goes over there. He says, "Hello, my name is Dr. Neil Gordon." Then he takes the table John Saxon was sitting in, tosses it over, takes him, it slams him into a wall. It says, "I don't give a damn if you care that if Nancy lives or dies, but I do." And he says, "Me and you are going on a scavenger hunt." Okay, so Gordon had a pretty had a badass moment there. I thought that was pretty cool. And so Nancy's basically rushing to get to the hospital, and Gordon and John Saxon go to a church, and it takes John Saxon's liquor, pours it out, and fills it with holy water and a cross. And then kind of a funny moment where the priest touches him, like, now what are you doing? They say, "Here, I really need this cross, but I'll reimburse you. Here, you can have my driver's license. Thank you." Then just runs off. And the priest kind of just looks like what the fuck just happened? I thought that was kind of funny. And Nancy finds the kids because he can't get to Kristen because Lawrence Fishburne is guarding the door. And he even says that, "I understand what you're trying to do, but I gotta think about me here. I mean, and even if I didn't have orders, I can't let you see Kristen." And then Nancy understands, and she finds the kids, and then she devises a plan to go, while Kristen sleeps, they can fall asleep so they can meet up with Kristen and potentially get Joey. And then John Saxon and Gordon, they go to a lumber yard, because that's where the boiler room was at that Freddy was in before he got burned alive. And while this happens, Nancy, prepares the group, saying, that this is really dangerous. If Freddy kills you, it's gonna be for real. Like, if you don't want to be in, you don't have to be in. Will agrees, Taryn agrees. And I like Kincaid's line. He goes, "Let's kick this motherfucker's ass all over Dreamland." Like, I really like that line. Let's kick this motherfucker's ass all over Dreamland. Like Kincaid is a cool character. He's a really cool dude. All right, so they go in, and they enter hypnosis, and then Freddy quickly separates the group. First, we see Kristen, who's in an alleyway. She sees this bum, and she runs into Freddy. And then Freddy goes, "Hello, welcome home, Kristen. Does this look familiar?" She pulls out her knives and goes, "Let's dance, asshole." And then they get into like a quick scuffle. And she kind of gets Freddy too. And then, of course, Freddy says, "Kristen, come on. Why should we be fighting? We're old friends." And then and then his knife turns to syringes. And it just says, "Let's get high." And then Taryn, her name was Taryn, looks down her arm, and she sees that her scars are like winking at her or something like that. I thought that was a pretty cool effect. And of course, Freddy, Freddy injects her all 10 fingers into Taryn. And then Freddy's like doing things where he's kind of like rolling his eyes, like he's getting high too. And of course, he fully injects her. And then Freddy goes, "What a rush!" Again, Robert Englund's the man. They keep giving him fun lines, dialogue, and fun things to do. And then we meet Will. And Will's walking down. Looks like the same hallway that Tina was walking down at the beginning of the film. And then we pretty much see like the wheelchair from hell. Basically a wheelchair full of spikes, coming towards him. And then Freddy goes, "Looks like it's the chair for you, kid," and flings the wheelchair at him. Then Will goes, "I am the Wizard Master. I am the Wizard Master." And then he has like these powers where he has like powers in his fingers where he just blasts the wheelchair. And then Freddy kind of has like, "Oh shit" look on his face. And then he goes, "Demon, be gone!" and attempts to blast Freddy. Now, Will does a stupid thing here. He has the power to blast Freddy, and he gets Freddy too. He got Freddy. But then Will, he attempts to run at Freddy. While he's blasting him, he literally runs towards Freddy. I'm like, well, why are you doing that? I mean, you got him right where you want him. Why are you running toward him? I'm like, well, that's a dumbass move. And of course, it turned out to be a dumbass move because Freddy just grabs Will and goes, "Sorry, kid, I don't believe in fairy tales," and stabs him, of course. I'm like, damn, Will, for dude that was supposed to be smart, that was a dumb move you did, bro. Why run toward your enemy? Oh, man. I like the Will character, but that was a stupid move. Well, what's up, Frank Nitty? But, so after that, Kirsten is basically walking around. She finds Nancy, and then Kincaid like busts through a wall and said, "I thought I heard voices." And Kirsten goes, "Kincaid, I can kiss you." Well, what's stopping you? And and then Kincaid, like Kincaid's fucking hilarious. He said, now it's time to start kissing, start messing. And he goes, "Hey, Freddy, where are you? You burnt." Like, what he said. Like, forgot what he says. Hey, Freddy, where are you? You burnt face pussy. Like he's screaming that. And then Nancy goes, like, wait, we should find the others. He said, he said, "Well, come on out, you pussy. Come out, you pussy." And nothing happens. And Kincaid goes, "Yeah, I knew he was a chicken shit." And all of a sudden, like a door appears. And then Nancy says, "Follow me," and they go down. And the whole time, Gordon and John Saxon is trying to find the bones. And while they're trying to find the bones, they find Joey being basically held hostage, basically dangled over the deep depths of hell. And Nancy goes, "Let him go, Freddy." And Freddy goes, "Okay, your wish is my command." So he releases him, but Nancy catches him. Freddy goes to attack Nancy, but Kristen does a drop kick on Freddy. Again, she's athletic. She could do like martial arts and stuff. And then Kincaid uses his super strength to save both Nancy and Joey. Nancy stabs Freddy, but then Freddy takes he no sells and pulls it out. And Nancy says, "I've never seen him this strong before." And then Freddy reveals that the souls of the children makes me stronger. And then we see like he opens his chest and we see like all of the souls in his chest and their faces on it. And then Freddy knows that Gordon is trying to fuck with his bones. And it looks silly now, but I guess back then it was cool. But Freddy Bones comes to life. He attacks Gordon. Then he finds, and then he sees, and then John Saxon. And John Saxon says, "I killed you once, you son of a bitch. Now I'll kill you again." And then John Saxon goes to fight Skeleton Freddy. But then in a matter of 2 seconds, in just 2 seconds, Skeleton Freddy stabs John Saxon and then throws him and impales him. I'm sitting here like, John Saxon died a little too quickly for my taste. I mean, fuck, he didn't even put up much of a fight. So I wasn't the biggest fan of that. I kind of thought John Saxon could have had a more of an honorable way for him to go out. Then of course Gordon gets his ass kicked, gets hits in the face with the shovel. And then and then Gordon falls in the grave, and then Freddy goes to attempt to bury Gordon, and then Freddy has like a triumphant taunt. Then he goes back into the dream world, where an interesting concept where Nancy, Kincaid, and Joey, they're in a room full of mirrors, and then Freddy appears in the mirror and goes, "Sorry to keep you waiting, but there's a lot of me that I could spread around." And then Freddy's in each and every mirror. He's laughing and taunting at them. And then in each mirror is grabbing Kincaid, another mirror is grabbing Nancy, and another mirror is grabbing Kristen, and he's trying to pull them in. And then we learn that Joey's power is the ability to scream, because he screams, "No!" and shatters the mirrors. Now I have another nitpick I want to say. I'm surprised Nancy doesn't have a power. You would kind of think that all this knowledge she knows about Freddy, you would think she would have a power. So I'm like, everybody has a power, but not Nancy. I kind of like scratch my head at that, but I don't know. I would have liked to see Nancy have a power of her own. So Joey screams, "No!" and the mirror shatters. And here's another nitpick. Here's a nitpick I have in this movie. Well, let me set it up first. So Nancy says that he's gone. It's over now. And they all embrace each other. And then while they embrace each other, triumphantly, John Saxon appears before Nancy and tells that he's crossed over. And Nancy actually believes this. It goes to hug John Saxon. John Saxon saying, "I'm sorry for not being a better father or whatsoever, and I love you, Nancy." And I'm kind of sitting here like, I already knew it was a setup. I already knew this was a setup because, Nancy, your father, who most of the time does not believe any of this shit, Nancy, you're really going to believe that your father has the power to cross over? And two, we just saw John Saxon die. And Nancy, you're supposed to be smarter than this. All because all that happened, that Joey screamed and the mirrors just shattered, and Nancy believes that this is over? Nancy, out of all people, you should know Freddy does not go out that easy. If you really think about it, none of these horror movie legends go out that easy. Michael Myers, Jason, hell, even Leatherface doesn't go out that easy. So I was really disappointed in how they kind of dumbed her character down, because she just like gleefully just hugs John Saxon. And then, of course, we later find out that John Saxon is really Freddy. He stabs her and screams, "Die!" And I'm like, damn it. Now Nancy's dead. Ugh, I really did not like how they killed off Nancy's character. I really did not like it. Nancy, who was a very strong heroine in the first film, and very smart and intelligent, and find that Freddy outsmarts Nancy in the end. Come on. I thought that was really cheap. And John Saxon dying too in a matter of 2 seconds. I didn't like that. So it's kind of sad if you think about it, that the two people from the first film, they don't have happy endings. I'm like, damn, like, did John Saxon and Nancy have to die? Fuck, you could have at least had Nancy live. But I guess you could say they kind of made up for it, because after Freddy stabs Nancy, he goes to attack Kristen. But Nancy, takes Freddy's glove and she stabs him with the glove. And while that's happening, Gordon, throws the remains back to the grave site. And Freddy dies in a pretty cool way where, he pours the holy water, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, pours it on Freddy's remains. And we see like little holes of Freddy coming on him. He puts the cross on his forehead, and the cross appears on Freddy's face. And I'm sorry, folks. I'm still kind of pissed off about that. I hate when horror movies do that. I really hate when they take great characters and they kill them off unceremoniously. Most notably, Laurie Strode from Halloween. I mean, they just killed her off just like that in a pretty kind of in the same fashion that Freddy did it. Michael just outsmarts Laurie and kills her. In this case, Freddy outsmarts Nancy. I fucking hate when they do that. I really hate how they do that in horror movies. So Gordon, consecrates the remains, destroys Freddy, and Freddy's dead for now. Robert Englund once again does a great job as Freddy. He was great one-liners. They gave him good shit to do, gave him good lines of dialogue. Freddy cracked me up in some scenes. Robert Englund, once again, he's 3 for 3. He's 3 for 3 as Freddy. 1, he was great. 2, he was great. And 3, he was great. So he's 3 for 3 for right now. Love Robert Englund in these movies. So so they're all at Nancy's funeral because Nancy dies. But I guess you can say that Nancy goes out, defiant because she basically kills Freddy at the end. I'm like, no, I would have preferred if Nancy survived, but that's just me though. And then Gordon sees the nun again. He sees the nun again and rushes to meet her, but we only discover that the gravestone of Amanda Kruger, who is also called Sister Mary Helena. So all throughout this movie, Dr. Gordon was talking to Freddy's mother this whole time, Amanda Kruger. I'm like, that's interesting. So that night, Neil peacefully sleeps in his bed with Nancy's Malaysian dream doll house on his dresser, along with the paper mache house. And then suddenly, the lights come on in the house, in the paper mache house. And that tells you, sequel! So then, the end credits. And then, of course, that awesome song, "We're the Dream Warriors." I really like the ending song of Dream Warriors. I forgot what the band. I forgot what was the band's name. Dokken or Dokken, whatever. We're the Dream Warriors. I really like that song. So there's Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors. Again, I really love. It's a very solid film. Very solid film with an awesome concept. The people having the ability to have their powers and dreams. So I'm pretty sure we can all relate. I mean, would it be cool to access your powers from your dreams? That'd be awesome. They use these powers to go against Freddy. I really like the concept, a very awesome concept. Heather Langenkamp, is fine. She does a good job, but she's not as strong. It doesn't have the presence to her like she does in the first film. I mean, Heather Langenkamp in the first film was a lot more stronger and tougher and more defiant. Heather Langenkamp to me is kind of like I don't know. She's just not as strong, and she kind of like takes a back seat to Kristen and Kincaid and all them. But she still does a good job acting wise. I just kind of thought her character was not as strong as the first film, and she kind of takes a back seat to the rest of the cast. So I kind of wish they could have wrote Nancy's character in this film better. They could have done it better for Nancy. I thought the cast did fine. I thought Patricia Arquette was good. The actor that plays I want to give them the respect they deserve and give them their names. Ken Sagos, he was great as Kincaid. Definitely a fan favorite. And who else? I thought Ronnie Eastman did pretty good as the mute. Craig Wasson as Dr. Gordon. I like Craig Wasson in the film. I thought he did a good job. I thought Lawrence Fishburne in the small role he did fine. I like the cast. I know people say that acting in a horror movie don't expect great stuff, but I mean, Heather Langenkamp and Johnny Depp was good in the first film. Say what you want to say about Mark Patton and the gay overtones the second film had, but I thought Mark Patton did a good job in the first film. I mean, but he screamed like a girl. Well, if motherfucker Freddy Krueger is basically possessing you, and he fucking tells you, you've got the body, but I've got the brain, and he takes his head off and shows the brain, I guarantee you'd probably scream like a girl too. I'm willing to bet that you would scream like a girl too. I mean, let's not bullshit ourselves, all right? I mean, if we saw motherfucking Freddy Krueger coming after us, possessing, yeah, we scream like a girl too. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, but I liked Mark Patton and I forgot Kim Myers. I thought they did good. I thought Johnny Depp and Heather Langenkamp did a good job. I thought this cast did a good job as well. You bought them. They were interesting. You gave a damn about them. You didn't want to see them die. You felt bummed when they did die, which is if you actually have a horror movie where you actually care about the characters, that is a good sign because I like these guys. And I thought they did good. I thought they did a good job in their roles. But of course, I have nitpicks. Notice in these reviews of Nightmare on Elm Street, I've had like at least one nitpick. The first film, I did not like the ending. The second film, I did not like the ending. And in this film, I did not like the way how they wrote off Heather Langenkamp's Nancy, and I did not like the way how they wrote off John Saxon's character. I thought they could have been better written, personally. And I would have liked if Nancy had a little bit more of an impact in this film. I mean, she does a good job, but her presence was a lot better in the first film, and you don't feel it as much as this film. You don't feel it in the third film. I kind of thought they could have had more. Like they could have had Nancy do more. Is what I'm trying to say. They could have had her do more. But all in all, though, very solid film, awesome concept. This is my second favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film. And of course, Robert Englund was the man. Another great job as Freddy. Who gives a fuck what you think? Welcome to prime time, bitch. It's the chair for you, kid. I don't believe in fairy tales. Just memorable one-liners here. So I'll have to give Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 The Dream Warriors, I will give it an 8 out of 10. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Could have been potentially a 9 if those nitpicks. If they could have did a better job with Nancy John Saxon's characters, it could have been. No, I won't say 9. I'll say 8.5. I'll say 8.5. So yeah, short review tonight. Again, Arlo was not able to make it tonight, but he will. I'm hoping he will be available for next Friday. Next Friday, we're going to review my personal favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film, and that's Nightmare on Elm Street 4: The Dream Master. I absolutely love this film. This is my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film. So I'm definitely looking forward to talking about that. And let's see if there's anything else I need to add. Yeah, Frank Nate said I wouldn't scream, I vomit. There you go. There you go. Lightning Fist X, what's up with everyone getting hit with the shovel? Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know. Hey, they had golden shovels back then too. I don't know. Let me see. Frank said your power would be you unleash your inner Green Lantern on Freddy. Yeah, makes sense. You be on my Goku shit. Lightning Fist says you be on your my crucial powers. Yeah, that's stuff like that. Like not even know she make you plays your imagination. Yeah, but Frank Nate and Lightning Fix X, just whatever you do, just don't fucking run towards Freddy while you do your powers. I still can't believe Will did that. He could have potentially killed Freddy, but he made a dumb decision. But yeah, I think that will do it for me tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. You can follow me at jtims101193 King JT on my Twitter. And of course, subscribe to my King JT channel. And of course, if you want to, go ahead and subscribe to my James Tim channel, my main channel. Of course, no secret that I got flagged by YouTube for using copyright infringement. Ironically, the one that I did by myself got flagged, which was the It Follows review. I'm by myself again tonight, so hopefully this review doesn't get flagged, which, again, I'm not using any material. All I'm going to use is the poster or some character. That's all I'm going to do. I still don't know how the fuck I got flagged for that when all these other channels are actually using footage from the movies, like CinemaSins are actually using footage for and literally spoiling the movie for you for like 20 minutes, but they get a pass. But small time channels, they get flagged. Oh, and I also want to give a quick shout outs to a couple of my inspirations to do movie reviews. Rambo Out for Life, and OCP Communications. Yeah, shout out to you guys. You guys definitely one of my inspirations to do these movie reviews, and so yeah, shout out to those guys. And of course, I gotta include the Blitz team, right? Arlo at Clean Silverware. Only material you're using is your head. Thank you, Frank Nitty. I appreciate that. But Arlo at Clean Silverware. Of course, Nick, Mad Genius, Adam, Justin, of course, Bruce Blitz at blitzsportsnetwork.com. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm telling you, it's worth the money. It only costs the most it'll cost you is $40, and you spend $6 or $10. It's not cheap at all. Subscribe to it. I promise you, I can guarantee you're going to enjoy it. It's a lot better than ESPN because Bruce is now doing NFL coverage on there, and he's doing a damn good job doing it. So if you guys haven't subscribed, go subscribe, please. Bruce deserves it. And of course, support the rest of the Blitz team, man. The Blitz team is getting better and better. And if you've seen this Monday's Raw Live review, all the new features Bruce has included on the website for the reviews, I'm telling you, it's bigger and better. Blitz team are doing a lot of big things right now, and it's awesome. Again, shout out Mad Genius, Virtual Sports, ProWrestlingTees.com. He's gonna put some content on the website now. Just the Blitz team, doing some good shit right now. I'm really proud of where we're at. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this Friday 13th Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 movie review. Again, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, solid film, awesome concept. Robert Englund's the man. Fuck what happened to Nancy and John Saxon, but hey, I'll let it pass because this movie's fucking awesome. Again, we'll see you guys next week. Again, hopefully Arlo will be here. Everybody have a good, clean, safe weekend. See you guys on Monday for the Blitz Team live commentaries. And of course, see you next Friday. We are out. Peace. Welcome to prime time, bitch. Peace.